My girlfriend practically demanded that I come to dinner to meet her parents. All evening she tore me apart in Spanish to them, convinced I couldn't understand a word. She even laughed and said, "He's too dense to realize what's happening." Right as we were leaving, I thanked her parents for their kindness in flawless native Spanish, and then calmly laid out every single lie she had ever fed me. My girlfriend of 2 years, Sophia, had been on a determined campaign for the past 6 months. The goal was straightforward: get me in the same room as her parents. I kept putting it off, not because I feared commitment, but because of the way she painted them, strict, old school, and completely wrapped up in her world. Sophia, though, would not let it go. She swore it was the crucial next step for us. Eventually, I gave in. The big night was set for yesterday. I had no clue I wasn't heading to a simple family meal. I was walking straight into a trap. Before I go further, there's something about me you need to know. My last name is Peterson. I look like your average American guy, blondish hair, blue eyes, the whole package. But my mother, who lost her battle with cancer when I was 16, was born and raised in Seville, Spain. She came to the States in her 20s. Spanish was the language of our house growing up. It was how she sang to me, told me bedtime stories, whispered "Te quiero." After she passed, speaking it hurt too much. It became a private treasure tied to memories of her. I tucked it away and almost never used it again. Sophia knew my mom had died, but she never asked for details. She wasn't the type to dig unless it directly affected her. She knew my dad was American and simply assumed the same about my mother. In 2 full years together, she never once wondered about my mother's roots. That I spoke perfect Castilian Spanish, without the slightest accent, was something she never bothered to uncover. We showed up at her parents' place last night. They matched her description perfectly, warm at first glance but with sharp, judging eyes underneath. Mr. Rodriguez gave me a strong handshake. Mrs. Rodriguez offered a courteous yet chilly smile. We took our seats in their formal dining room and the show started. Sophia instantly launched into rapid Spanish with her parents. She flashed me a dazzling smile. "We're just catching up, babe. We'll switch to English soon, I swear." The switch never happened. For the next 2 hours I sat there, smiling politely, nodding when they glanced my way, passing the bread, and understanding every venomous syllable. It began with my job. I'm an architect at a well-regarded firm. She told them in Spanish, "He's okay, but he has no real ambition. He's content in his little corner office. I'm the one with the fire. I end up covering most of our fancy trips and dinners." A complete fabrication. I earn more than twice her income and have paid for every single vacation we've ever taken. Next came my personality and cultural awareness. "He's decent enough," she sighed, "but he couldn't care less about our traditions. He won't even learn basic Spanish phrases, just a typical boring gringo who lives for NFL and burgers. It wears me out." I had literally finished reading a Spanish-language biography of Gaudí 2 weeks earlier. The deepest cut came when her mother asked if we were serious, whether marriage was in the cards. Sophia let out a tinkling laugh that felt like shards of glass in my chest. "Oh, I'm ready," she said, "but he's the one stalling. I think the idea of marriage terrifies him. I practically have to beg him to discuss a future." In the inside pocket of my jacket sat the final design proof for the custom engagement ring I'd been working on with a jeweler. I had already booked a surprise trip to Italy for her birthday next month and planned to propose under the Roman sky. The dissection went on for hours. My character, my bank account, my background, my prospects. All while I sat there like a guest at my own funeral, smiling blankly. The absolute worst moment arrived with dessert. Her father asked, "Mija, are you certain about this one? He seems simple." Sophia laughed again, reached over, and patted my hand like I was a golden retriever. Looking straight into my eyes with counterfeit affection, she told her parents in Spanish, "It's fine, Papa. He's too slow to even realize we're talking about him. Look at that dumb smile." That was the moment everything inside me crystallized into ice-cold clarity. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to make a scene. I was going to wait for the perfect second and dismantle her entire facade with nothing but facts. The perfect second arrived as coats were being retrieved. Her father, perhaps feeling a twinge of guilt, turned to me and said in slow, exaggerated English, "Very nice to meet you, Alex." I smiled warmly, locked eyes with him, and let my mother's language flow out of me like it had never been buried. "El gusto ha sido mío, Señor Rodriguez. Muchísimas gracias por abrirme las puertas de su casa. Then to her mother, Señora Rodriguez, la cena ha estado espectacular. Es usted una cocinera extraordinaria. Mil gracias por su hospitalidad. The reaction was immediate. Mrs. Rodriguez's fork slipped from her fingers and clattered against her plate. Mr. Rodriguez's mouth actually fell open. And Sophia went a shade of white I didn't know humans could achieve. She looked ready to vomit. I wasn't done. I kept the same polite smile and continued in flawless Spanish. And Sophia, I also want to thank you. Tonight has been illuminating. There are just a few small misunderstandings I'd like to clear up while we're all together. Update 1, the silence that followed was so thick you could have cut it with a knife. The only sound was Mrs. Rodriguez's shaky breathing. Sophia sat paralyzed, her face drained of color, eyes wide like someone who just realized the harmless pigeon on the chessboard was actually a grandmaster who had been toying with her the entire game. I remained perfectly calm, as if I were simply wrapping up a pleasant evening. First, I said, addressing her parents directly, Sophia seemed worried about my professional and financial situation. I'd like to ease your concerns. There must have been a mix-up. Last month I was promoted to junior partner at the firm, along with a substantial raise. I'm actually doing quite well. I pulled out my phone, opened the confirmation for the Italy trip, and slid it across the table so they could see the first-class flights and the suite at the Hotel de Russi in Rome. As for the idea that she funds our nicer experiences, here, the itinerary for the surprise birthday trip I had planned for her next month. Another simple misunderstanding, I'm sure. Sophia's eyes welled up. A single tear rolled down, carving a line through her foundation. Second, I continued, she mentioned my apparent disinterest in your culture. That one hurt deeply. My mother, Maria, was born in Seville. She raised me in Spanish. It was the language of our home, of my childhood. After she died, it became something sacred and private to me. I never shared it with Sophia because it felt too personal. Her assumption that my silence meant ignorance or disrespect is regrettable. Mrs. Rodriguez pressed a hand to her heart, her expression softening with genuine sympathy. Mr. Rodriguez turned to his daughter with slow-dawning disappointment. And finally, I said, my voice turning sharp as steel, looking straight at Sophia, the question of commitment. You told your parents I'm the one afraid of marriage, that I'm dragging my feet. You said this knowing I've spent the last month designing a custom ring for you, knowing I was going to propose in Rome. But clearly, a man cannot propose to a woman who thinks he's a clueless fool. A man cannot build a life with someone who weaponizes the language his dead mother taught him in order to mock him behind his back. I let that sit in the air for a long, heavy moment. I stood up. De nuevo, gracias por todo, tienen una casa preciosa. I walked out, got in my car, and drove away, leaving Sophia to face the wreckage she had built. The drive back to our apartment was the longest half hour of my life. Eventually, she came home. We didn't speak a word. The silence roared. When we stepped inside, she finally exploded, accusing me of tricking her, of setting her up, of deliberately humiliating her. You understood everything. You just sat there and let me bury myself. No, Sophia, I answered, exhausted. I just sat there and existed. You did all the work. The only thing I did was comprehend the language you chose to destroy me in. She broke down sobbing, claiming she didn't really mean it, that she was only trying to look strong in front of her parents, that she was making herself the hero so they would accept me. The excuses were paper-thin. There is no coming back from this, I told her. You didn't just lie to them, you lied about every part of us, and you used my mother's memory as your stage prop. That is unforgivable. I went to the bedroom, pulled out a suitcase, and started placing her things inside. This is my apartment, Sophia, my name on the lease. I want you gone by the end of the week. Her face collapsed as the reality hit her. She hadn't lost an argument. She had lost everything. Update 2, the following week was grim and mechanical. Sophia drifted through the apartment like a shadow, filling boxes with her belongings. The air was heavy with her quiet resentment and my silent finality. She tried a few more tear-soaked apologies, but they rang hollow. She wasn't sorry for what she did, she was sorry the mask came off. By Friday, she was gone. I carried the last box to her car. We didn't say goodbye. I shut the door and felt, for the first time in years, genuine peace. I thought that would be the end. It was. A few days later, I received a call from an unknown number. It was Mr. Rodriguez Hector. His voice was low and grave. Alex, I'm calling to apologize. You have nothing to apologize for, sir. Yes, I do, he insisted. I apologize for my daughter's behavior under my roof. I apologize for the things she said and for the fact that we sat there and let it happen. We raised her better than that. What she did to you and to the memory of your mother was disgraceful. He told me they had confronted Sophia after I left. She crumbled and admitted everything. They were ashamed and heartbroken. I just want you to know, he finished, we do not defend what she did. You are a good man, and I'm sorry my family hurt you. I was deeply touched. Thank you, Hector. That means the world. That call was the first crack in the foundation Sophia always believed was unbreakable, her parents' unconditional protection. Meanwhile, she tried to rewrite history with our friends, claiming I had lived a secret double life, that I was manipulative and deceptive, that I had hidden my real self for 2 years. It fell completely flat. My version of events, one calm dinner where the girlfriend trashed her fluent in Spanish boyfriend, thinking he was clueless, was simply too cinematic, too specific, and too believable. Word spread fast. Her accusations only made her look frantic. The final pathetic move was a text she sent last week. I know you canceled the Italy trip. You owe me half the cost of the ticket since you ended things, and it was my birthday present. I read it, shook my head with a sad smile, deleted it, and blocked her number forever. Final update: 6 months have passed since that night turned my life upside down, in the best possible way. The chaos with Sophia has receded into the distance, replaced by a calm I didn't know I was missing. From what little I hear through the grapevine, her relationship with her parents is fractured. Her father, a proud man, was so revolted by her dishonesty that he has put her on what he calls probation for adulthood. They've cut off financial support, mandated therapy, and are forcing her to stand on her own for the first time in her life. The princess treatment is over. She's still in a tiny apartment, still at the same job, and reportedly miserable. The dinner story has become local legend, a warning about underestimating people and about the dangers of cruelty disguised as cleverness. Dating has not gone well for her. Me? I sold the engagement ring, took the money, and did something I should have done years ago. I went to Seville alone. I walked the same cobblestone streets my mother walked as a girl. I ate the food she cooked for me as a child. I spoke Spanish openly, proudly, not as a secret but as a celebration. I found the neighborhood where she grew up, sat in the church where she was baptized, and finally let myself grieve and heal at the same time. It was a pilgrimage. It reclaimed the part of me Sophia tried to poison. I came home lighter, whole. I'm not dating, I'm not rushing anything. I'm working, traveling. Argentina is next, and surrounded by people who are real. Sophia thought she was using a private language to mock someone she deemed beneath her. She never realized that language was my inheritance, my mother's love letter to me, and ultimately the blade that cut her carefully constructed world to pieces. She tried to paint me as the fool. In the end, she revealed who the real fool was, and it wasn't me.